Hello, everyone. I see a lot of new faces, so I just want to welcome you all to the Kodak House. My name is Vanessa Bendetti. I head up the motion picture business for Kodak. And if you've never been to this space, we host community events like this, filmmaker Q&As. We also do educational programming, loading workshops, other things like that. So if you had not been here before and you enjoyed tonight, please make sure that you give us your email before you leave, and we'll put you on our mailing list, and you'll hear about more things like this. But we're really excited to have Eli Roth here today. Give a big round of applause. And while The Ice Cream Man was not primarily shot on film, Super 8 has been a big part of Eli's journey as a filmmaker, and it really helped to inform his craft and his early beginnings of filmmaking, which you're going to get to have a very special look at tonight. We also have the wonderful Elvis Mitchell, who is here tonight to moderate the conversation. So it's a really special event for us here. We're going to be recording it and sharing it on YouTube at a later date, so please be mindful that we are recording, and if you do have to get up, kind of make your way outside the camera lines if you can. And hopefully you're not too warm in here. We're still working on our air conditioning on these summer days, but thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying your ice cream and being patient outside, and I'm very happy to present to you director, producer, screenwriter, actor, Eli Roth, and Elvis Mitchell.
Much better. We're gonna switch spots.
We can't switch spots. I'm sitting here already. I touched your water. I'm sorry.
Dun. It's all right. We touched water before. Hi guys, how we doing? How's the ice cream?
Funny because I can never eat ice cream again after seeing this movie.
Oh, good. We like that.
I mean, we were just talking about all the things, but I also thought of Larry Cohen's The Stuff when I was watching it too.
It's so funny. A few people brought up this stuff. Like I always say that when you're making a movie, like there are conscious references and then there's deep programming that's just in your DNA. And The Stuff is for sure one of those movies. I remember reading about it in Fangoria and Chocolate Chip Charlie's Death with Garrett Morris. And I have The Stuff, which we gave to Patrick Dempsey during a gag take on Thanksgiving. It was like, we're like one take, the girls are like, well, what about, they're looking for John Carver, like, what about this? And they handed him a can of The Stuff. So I hadn't thought of it. It wasn't one of the conscious ones. But it's for, now you think about it, you're like, yeah, of course The Stuff is in there.
Oh, no, because I could not think about it. But also, again, Bird with the Crystal Plumage I thought of, and then Hard to Kill a Child, with all the things we were talking about. But it's interesting, too, because I find myself thinking, in almost all of your movies, there's the idea of original sin, that somebody's done something that gets transferred down to generation to generation to generation. Where does it come from?
I don't know, and I don't want to give away too much of sort of why this is happening, and all of that is revealed in the story of the movie. But I think that look, the original idea for Ice Cream Man came during the promotion of Cabin Fever, when it was somewhere
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2003, so it was like yes, we're that old. But yes, it was then, which is when we met. It was like, but I saw an ice cream truck, and I had this memory. You heard the music, and the music, it's like you just start salivating. Like, we have this Pavlovian program. We're like, ice cream! It's like the Eddie Murphy routine. And we're like, ice cream! Like, I see the truck now. And it was funny because it was parking, like, around the neighborhood. It was just funny to see that truck driving around Los Angeles, modern day. Just, like, such a perverse, makes me happy to no end. But I had this idea of an ice cream man. I was watching the Ice Cream Man and the kids running up thinking, like, that dude could be a serial killer. Like, we don't know who that is. And then I started thinking about the Pied Piper. I was like, well, what if this person wanted to, like, control all the children and you could give them and I had this image of, like, a smiling ice cream man that looks like they're off a Saturday Evening Post cover, just, like, smiling and giving the kids ice cream, and then the truck going through at night and the music activating the kids to all kill their parents. And then they go to school and the teacher's like, what's going on? The kids have blood, and then they start killing the adults. And then, because no one can do anything, because they're kids, because you can't do anything. That's a kid. It's like, oh, no. And then they're doing the unthinkable. And then being a father of a baby girl who's now 18 months old, I know, oh, she's that cute. The sweetest little thing in the world.
Don't show the movie.
Yeah. I'll wait until she's at least 5 or 6. Don't worry. All you want to do is protect your child. all you want to do is protect them. You're like, you don't want it to get SARS or this, or they can't. There's someone has a coffee music class, or don't come near the like protect the baby, and you can't, no matter what. You can prepare them for the world, but you can't protect them from some outside influence. Something's going to get to them through their phone, through the food, through something at school. So I reapproached it with the fear of a parent, but I also could really, really think about, if I had made this movie 25 years ago, there would have been no explanation. It would have been like, that's a fucked up ice cream man. But then I thought, well, I could actually do something and tie it in thematically and go into the backstory of who is this person and why are they doing that and like why are they unleashing this hell on earth. And it was crazy to shoot. And, part of it was the movie is set present day, but I wanted it to have a late 70s, early 80s feel to it.
The funny thing is you realize at a certain point people aren't using cell phones that much. And that was a conscious decision, wasn't it, to make?
Well, they're using cell phones because there's an ice cream kind of commercial that's very like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, where it's like that 8 more days to out.
Yes.
You know that like that ring-a-ding-ding, ring. It's my singing, yes. The ring. It's like it's the most annoying song. Imagine having that in my head. So now I have to like put it in everyone else's head rent free. And look, I used to shoot so much stuff on Super 8 back in the day. Like I loved making Super 8 films. It was so much fun, and I wanted to have those. The movies about my memories of childhood, of Bad News Bears, of Amblin movies, of E.T. Like when I was a kid and I saw that dinner scene in E.T., I remember being like, that's the first time I'd ever seen a real dinner scene. I was like, this doesn't feel like acting. This is exactly what it's like being at dinner. I remember consciously thinking that. So I tried to write a movie with the kids that talk like real kids. That in like the 70s, Bad News Bears, they're foul-mouthed fuckers. The stuff that comes out of their mouth, you can't believe it now. You're like, that child would be canceled today. Like so, so I wanted the kids to talk like you're fucking dead, you fucking pussy. Like saying the stuff that kids said, and it was great. Like one person told me that they saw it, and for some reason their 12-year-old walked in. It was like a critic, and the 12-year-old's like, that's how we talk. Like the kid identified like this is it shouldn't feel like movie dialogue, but I also wanted to shoot a lot of the kind of flashback and a lot of the stuff on Super 8. So there's obviously spoiler stuff in it, but I didn't want to, but I loved shooting Super 8. It was great. It was so fun. It looked so beautiful, so nostalgic. Ben Davis, who's in the movie in the back, right there, Benjamin Byron Davis. You may know Benjamin Byron Davis. Ben and I, we were like part of a group. Like when we were friends in elementary school, we would shoot movies together after school on Super 8. We did animation and stop frame animation. We loved it. So getting back to shooting a movie, as my 10th movie to go back to what I originally used, Kodak has this fantastic new Super 8 camera that actually shoots it widescreen and gives it even more detail than you could. It like takes full advantage of the Super 8 film, but it was so fun to shoot. It felt like, it's just so freeing.
But it even has the colors of old Kodak film, and the way summertime. When I think of old Kodak film, I think of summertime, and the way summer pops when it's developed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to do a movie that was different. It's weird when you can take risks. Like I like taking risks with horror movies, and that's the fun of doing a low budget movie. Is it doesn't have to be. You don't have to follow the rules on a big budget movie. Like you can just do crazy stuff that like a lot of times I make a movie and people go, you can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. And I go, I know, but that's what's fun about it is that people haven't seen that. It's like, well, no one's ever done that. I haven't seen that. I'm like, I know, but I kind of like. I've never seen a horror movie that sort of looks like Pee-wee's Playhouse, that gets splattered in blood and goes crazy. I wanted it to look and feel. I really went with Simon Cho at my DP and Peter Mahajcek, my production designer, and costume designer Jennifer Jarvis, makeup, everything. The color, the ice cream, I wanted primary colors. I think back to childhood, and my childhood is in Technicolor. I think about summertime when you're swimming at a friend's house and you hear the ice cream truck and you just get up in your bathing suit and you're running and you've wet like you're like soaking wet and you're like 50 cents like that. These are the memories. Like I was a camp counselor for 3 summers, so I'm used to dealing with like groups of, like 35 and 40 like 10 and 11-year-old boys and like kids and organize and capture the flag, and it was like green grass, blue skies, like baseball uniforms, the blue and white truck, the blue and white uniforms. So then it's also that
All the ice cream trucks always had a splash of red on them too.
yeah, and like all those colors that you wanted it to pop, and then it's taking that and it's the perversion of all of that. It's like, what if it's like the kids are playing games in the opening. They're playing jump rope at the park. There's a birthday party doing pin the tail on the donkey, and the kids are playing Little League, and then of course they get infected, and the kids are playing jump rope with intestines and pin the knives on the teacher, and baseball.
There's a great Operation joke in the movie.
Well, the Operation, it's in the trailer. Like I remember playing Operation as a kid. Like I was trying to think of, because you don't want the I really made sure that we can't put a gun in a child's hand. Nobody it's a different kind of movie. I was like, what's fun is taking the stuff from school, like the paper cutter. Like kids remember in 7th grade, this is me. I wore a fake hand to school, rubber hand. Have my real hand scrunched up in my sweatshirt, and I put it down on the paper cutter. And I was like, Mr. Robinson? He's like, yeah. I'm like, today are we going to, and I wham, and he goes, ah! And he jumped and had a heart attack, and I was like, and the kids screamed, and then everyone was laughing, and that gag, and I remember that, and there are kids that remember me doing that. They're like, that's like a traumatic memory for those kids that were in that art class. I have friends that are like, that was so fucked up.
A big class action suit coming up against you.
But the fact that I did it, that I committed to it, and I lined it up, and it was a paper cutter, and I looked at the teacher, and I could have cut my fingers off. Like, it was so stupid. So I did it, but then it's like, now I was like, okay, I got to have the kids do that, where they're going to chop off a teacher's hand, but then they're going to play tag with it. Because they're still kids. Like, in the movie, it's not evil killer kids. It's Christmas morning. But instead of opening presents, they're just opening up bodies.
I hope that's on the poster too. But I think also the way it looks reminds me. Remember the kid in the summer? You get your pictures back, and then you open up that wax paper, that tissue, and the first color. You saw the color before you actually saw the picture.
Yes,
and it actually triggered that kind of primal memory for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, the class photos were a thing. You do it, and then you get it like 3 weeks later. You hoped it was good, and there was like that blue sky, and you sitting there, and then there was. Those are great memories. I mean, that obviously we're close in age, so that's what it was like in the 70s and 80s, and I wanted to have that feel. I wanted it to be this kind of, I would call it a Technicolor nightmare. I didn't want it to look like Hostel. I didn't want it to look Cabin Fever's Evil Dead. Hostel, I like a very specific color palette.
But a lot of it, unlike your other movies, takes place during daytime.
Yeah, Green Inferno was the last time I did it, because that's really about the green and red with the color of the people in the tribe and the color of the red of the jungle and the red of the blood. And people had said to me, they're like, well, we can't cut a trailer because it's daytime. And I'm like, I know, but I remember Philip Kaufman's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And when I saw The Birds, The Birds was a huge influence on this, obviously. Yes. You can see the direct homage. And in fact, there's a song.
Even the name of the town on that card, on that sign.
Baleen Bay. Yeah, it's obviously taken from The Birds. And there's a very specific homage to The Birds in the movie. But I love it, because what I love about The Birds is, and I've rewatched, I became really obsessed with this movie, not to the level of the Birdemic guy, God bless him, but this is my Birdemic. What can I tell you? It's Birdemic with kids.
It also does this thing that you haven't done for a long time, which you really take your time with it. You really build the world out in a way that Bad News Bears did. You didn't know where it was going.
Thank you.
And I want to.
I hope people. It doesn't mean it's boring, by the way. Just please
know
that.
It's kind of like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And
yeah, I remember I did that in Hostel, where I sort of teased the audience, where it's coming, but I wanted people to go, wait, it started off like Porky's or Last American Virgin. People were like, I thought I was here for a horror film. What is this sex comedy? It's bright. I did everything in 3 shots. I did a 3-shot. They're all shot in 3 shots together in wide and Hostel at the beginning. It's a group of 3, just like an 80s sex comedy. We're not in a horror. I do this tight tease, and then whoever's going to get killed, I start to shoot in single. So you're the first victim, so you're getting shot. And everyone's like, oh, that's his close-up. Then these other 2 are together. Now this guy's getting in close-up. Now he's going to get it was, and then I started bleeding out the color. Once the orange jacket went, then it's it basically starts off in this Technicolor, kind of Last American Virgin, Porky's, this fun kind of 80s innocent, guys going around looking for sex, very hyper-real colors and that kind of Clockwork Orange brothel. And then once the orange jacket goes, I bled out the color until you're eventually in Eraserhead or Schindler's List, and they're in a factory, and it's all black, white. But they go to Slovakia. I literally, every car, every piece of costume, we controlled the color. We didn't do it digitally. We did it with everything they wear every piece of furniture, every rug. We bled it. We made it look old. We added the dust. And I didn't, like, you sort of don't notice it when you're watching the movie, but by the end, it's really just like you're in gravel and ash and smoke. And I wanted it to feel like you were in like a Eraserhead, Schindler's List kind of nightmare. So with this movie, and I missed that. I missed doing a movie. And in Green Inferno, you were in the jungle and the yellow, the uniforms. Like, I really like playing with color for story. I think there's something really, and exactly like when you see the scoreboard of the sign and like the way I did the titles and the opening, I really shot it to feel like Bad News Bears.
Even the scoreboard here, it's not a digital scoreboard. It's an old school,
It's the hardware store. It's the old school store where you got to flip the numbers. And I wanted people to know that. I wanted to feel tactile, aesthetic, small town America, and like doing crane shots and its safety and everything. Basically, I love movies where it's like The Birds, where they set up all these little dramas and then the birds show up and none of it fucking matters. It's just survival. So, and I love the idea, because this was a big thing growing up of you're fucking dead. Like if you cross someone, it wasn't like you're canceled. It was like you're fucking dead. Like, and that was Massachusetts in the 80s. It was like, it's 70s. It was hardcore. God forbid you wore the wrong heavy metal t-shirt. It's like, you're fucking pussy. You're fucking dead. You like that band? You're fucking dead. So then hopefully your hope is that by Monday they've forgotten about it. That's your only hope. But if it happened on the last day of school, it's like, it's going to be a long fucking summer for you. We're going to get you because now you don't have the teachers to protect you. And the kid's like, oh, shit. So I wanted to set up all these little, like the kid, like I remember... It's exactly what happened to me. I remember, like, there's a fucking major Little League game, and I, like, couldn't see the ball, and I choked, and I, like, dropped I completely missed the fly ball. I lost the game, and I had, like, a soda, and some kids, like, don't worry about it. Something like, I'm sure next year you'll fuck up every game for us, too, and, like, smack the soda in my hand. Yeah, this kid, Hank, the bully. Like, I put that in the movie. Like,
right here, yeah.
It's, like, it's literally in the movie. So it's just, like, you're like, oh, fuck, my life is over. And then... this kid, like, hates you. He's going to take your bike. It's like, you're fucking dead. So setting up that everybody wants to... It's like literally this, everybody wants to kill you, and then it turns where literally everybody wants to kill. Like, oh, I thought that was bad. This is what it's really like when everybody wants to kill you. But I wanted to set up all these little micro relationships, because once the kids eat the ice cream, then you'd see the bully in school and you'd do that, but the bully just walks by you. And I remember you're like, wait, what? I thought it's like the relationships are now, someone's like rewired everybody so that all of these little things of like, and then that kid who was going to beat you up suddenly is now protecting you because he didn't need it either. And I love movies like that. I love movies where it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something where these groups of kids that don't like each other, they don't know each other, they're from different cliques within the school, they fucking hate each other, they're just like, that person's in it. They've dismissed each other, and now they're the only one you can talk to because everyone's best friend is eating the ice cream. And you're just like, what the fuck happened? What's going on? Am I crazy? Like, what's going on here? And even the teachers are just like, what's going on? Like, this is, and then by the time, so then they have to band together to figure it out. So that, and I really, really, really wanted to have great young acting, not kid acting. And it's like, because I can't move, when the kids are talking, I'm like, I check out. But when you watch a movie with great young acting, and you watch a Bad News Bears, and you put on that first season of Stranger Things, you're like, okay, these kids are fucking unbelievable. These are great young actors in it.
The kids are listening to each other when they talk rather than waiting for their line. And that's a big difference to find kids who can do that kind of thing.
Charlie Zelter, Kiori Mirza-Waldman, Shiloh O'Reilly. Shiloh O'Reilly, who plays Tommy, he'd been in Thanksgiving. And there were a lot of kids that had been in Thanksgiving that you saw him like 2 years later, and they all trained. They were all like, he's like, in Thanksgiving, when the turkey gets its head chopped off, I was like, we should have a kid just be like, ah! And so I had like 30 kids come in and go, ah! Next, ah! I was like, that kid's funny. And we have him, he just goes, ah! His face, and I gave him a close-up in the movie because he was funny. And then he came back, I was like, I remember Shiloh. And I was like, whoa, this kid, he's so natural. And they all study, and I was like, and I said to them, and I was like, we're going to have, words you've never heard before, like you've never used before. They're like, and they said that actually with the language, being like, what the fuck, shut the fuck. Like, they're like, oh yeah, they could do natural acting because they're like, this is how we talk. This isn't how we talk when the teacher's around or when our parents are around, but like, this is how everyone talks. Like, nobody talks like they're in a movie. No one holds back. Kids insult each other. They bully each other. They're like, this is how the bully talks. That's how that talks. That's like, they're like, and because I would gut check everything with them. I'm like, does this sound, is this too grody? Like, is this totally tubular? Like, so obviously we'd work with the kids, but part of the thing was I didn't want acting that felt like acting. And all these kids, they said it was so freeing. They were laughing. They're like, I was like, cut. We're like, pretend you didn't hear those. Like, we were joking about it. They're like, every other TV show, it's so frustrating. They're like, we think our acting is bad, but it's because we're not allowed to say all of these words. And you have to then speak in this weird alien language that none of us use and make it feel natural. And then the TV network or whatever TV shows they're shooting in Toronto or movies, they're like, Hallmark stuff, they're like, it's just really, really hard to show yourself with this style of acting, which is that Stranger Things, Bad News Bears, because, and we're like, it's funny because we're doing all of these shocking things, and the most shocking things are seeing the kids, children go, shut the fuck up, because you're like so used to not seeing it from a kid, of course, unless you have them. So it was great, but like, and I said to them, I said, do you want me to direct you like children? Or do you want me to talk to you like adults, like the way I direct actors? And they're like, no, do not treat us like kids. I was like, okay, if something isn't working, I'm going to tell you why. And if it doesn't, and I like kids. I was, a babysitter and camp counselor, so I'm not going to like swear at them or I don't yell. Like this tone I have here is how I am on set. But I was like, if I think something's not good, but I also could do stuff where, we would do like I remember doing like a really, really, really intense scene with the kids. And I was like, and they were amazing, and they were so good. They showed up so prepared, off book. They rehearsed, and then you'd yell cut, and they're playing games. Then they go right back into it. But I said to them, I'm like, okay, wait, hang on, I have an idea. And I was like, Kiori, and I pulled. She's like, what? I'm like, you need to do this one like Peppa Pig. And like I look at him, she's like, okay. I was like, we're not telling the others. She's like, okay, I got it. I'm like, right, I'm gonna keep this in. I'm like, she's like, right, we gotta find the ice cream man, guys. And they're like, lads, what are we doing? Right, and they right away went into it. And I didn't yell cut. Like and the crew's looking at me going, what, are we doing a British version, like the Spanish version? And you let them just go for like 3 minutes doing a full take Peppa Pig, and you cut, and like you've never seen kids so happy. Like we could still keep it silly and light. So like I wouldn't do that with, Kate Blanchett doing a Peppa Pig take. That would be weird. But with kids, you could, if they did a great job, I'd be like, I think we have time for a Peppa. They're like, yeah. Like that was like the reward to show that like no matter what, like it's all fun. Like we're taking it seriously, but not that seriously.
But you got this when you see this movie. If you see the trailer, you see the tons of kids in it, and there are all kinds of restrictions and guidelines. You said you shot this in 19 days.
Yeah, Ben Davis back there Ben parachuted in and did a 10-page scene in one day shooting with kids. So it was hard. Now, look, you need an actor as great as Ben who could come in and really carry it. And the kids were incredible. And it was so nice to like be calm and have like a dialogue scene.
How do you rehearse a scene like that? Because that seems really hard.
Well, the rehearsal is we read through the script, with the kids. We like read it out loud. And I don't like to over-rehearse. I like to rehearse to the point where they have questions. And does this line seem weird? Did I phrase it awkwardly? Did I write I really am conscious of not having two characters sound the same. I want Mia to sound like Mia, Jared to sound like Jared, Tommy to sound. So sometimes you write your lines and then you realize that you're having to. If I can take a character's name and cross it out and replace it with another character, that's when I know I haven't really thought about how to make it personal to that guy. Now, I mean for like a real line, like if it's like, hey, or what, not like that, like anywhere that any of us would say. But when you're getting into the dialogue or phrasing questions, if I read the line and I don't see the character's name, I should be able to know who said it by the way they said it. That's kind of my guiding principle. So when we're reading through it, I'm like, oh, I'm having Jared and Tommy. Okay, that doesn't feel like the way you'd say it. That feels like the way they'd say it. And they were that. And the kids were so smart, and they had such good questions. So they're like, so do we like trust him? Do we like want to know? Are we mad at him that he knows what's going on and he's kind of hiding down here in the basement of a church? And I go, yeah, but then like you have to look to him, and then now you understand, and the blah blah blah, and then you feel a connection with him. Like it's just doing it like that. So we didn't rehearse it. Sometimes you're rehearsing on we call it rehearse on film, but we kind of sat down. What you want to do is loosely block it out. You don't want to burn them out. You have such little time with the kids. And we're shooting in the summer, so you don't have to deal with schooling kind of until the last week. Otherwise, you have to break the kids. They got to be, like your main cast, I think they're broken every 2 hours. Or if it's like young kids, when we were shooting The Playground Attack, there's 100 children. There's 20 stunt people. It was a heat wave. I think it was like 100 degrees. And we were like pulling people. We stunt people that are and they're kids. were doing the performing. Like one guy has a pencil in his eyes, and it's his daughter on his back. Because the stunt people, they're like, a lot of the stunt performers have kids that want to be in the movie, and they're actually really comfortable. Like if you have a father-daughter, they can rehearse it, and the kids know what it is, so you can get like amazing stunts with children because it's their parents, and the kids fucking wail on their parents. Like the kids, like trust me, when it's like a kid doing like the stunt with their parent, like the kids are amazing. So you have kids like that are like pulling their parent down. So we're about to go, and you have to give the kids a break every 45 minutes. That means sending them back. We're shooting in an elementary school. You got to send them back to the gym. Where it's not like break on set, but like you got to send them back there for like a 10-minute break. And these are like labor laws. So we're there. So getting all the kids there, getting them in makeup, getting them in blood, getting them in the gore, the ice cream
Now it
makeup.
goes against the clock.
Now that's against the clock. Now the clock has started. You're moving them out. I'm like, okay, we got to break them at 12:35. It's 12:33. We haven't gotten the shot because I'm trying to get. The only way to do the kid apocalypse is just to fucking do it. You know, you have a scene in your head. You have no idea if it's going to work or not. We're doing it for real. Like I wanted smoke. I wanted chaos. I
There's
wanted
tons
guts.
of action going on in the shots.
I wanted a movie. I wanted a sequence that's like everywhere you look, 360 degrees, there's something totally insane. I wanted to create a sequence that you'd see in the theater. You'd be like, what the fuck? It's like one thing and then that, where you'd have to get it, on home video and watch it and freeze frame it and go, oh, I missed that. So it's like, did you see that? Like, it's that kind of a scene where so much is happening, and the only way to do it is to stage it. So you go there and you get like one take, maybe two, running and gunning. You're just like, we're like sweating and panting. And I remember like but you're working with children, and the kids are awesome. Like I really was like, we're going to go for it. We were going to create the greatest scene ever, but everybody, we got to listen. Like if I yell cut, there's only one of me, and there's 100 of you guys. So please, I want to give everyone a close-up. Do you guys all want close-ups? Yeah. Do you all want to look great? So listen to me, and when I yell cut, just freeze, and we're going to do it again, because sometimes you might be great, but if we don't see it, it's not going to count. And I want to see you. I brought you here because I want to feature you on camera. And the only way that happens is if we all work together and listen. The kids are like, okay, let's go, have a great. So then you're like, we do it. And I'm like, great, we got everyone. Boom. Then we have 1 minute. Okay, go. Roll camera. Okay, action. And they were just standing there. And there's like smoke and people hanging and like a guy with pencils in it. I'm like, action. I'm like, what's going on? And there's like a 5-year-old kid. He's got a question. I go, yes? And he goes, my shoe's untied. And I went, well, wait, go ahead, tie your shoe. And he goes, and I said, yes. He goes, where's my mommy? I was like, he doesn't know how to tie his shoe. Can someone help him? And the cast, Shiloh's like, I got it, and tied his shoe. And the kid's like, action. He's like, ah. Went back to killing, like nothing. Like it was like, no, we can go, like, my shoe's inside. So then we had a scene where all the kids are like, the ice cream man shows up at school, and all the kids just get up. And I had this image of, like, like hearing the ice cream song, and all the kids just get up and leave. And the teacher's like, excuse me, where are you going? And like the teacher's like, what the fuck? Like the kids are like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, zombies. So the kids all line up and they just start getting ice cream. And like the kids that are uninfected are like, what? Like, hey, what's going on? So I have a scene where it's 100 children. Again, they've come to school in their bloody pajamas. And the teachers are like, is it bloody pajama? Is this like a TikTok prank, bloody pajama day? Like, is this some TikTok challenge? Nobody talks. Like, what's going on here? Like, the teachers are sort of checked out because it's the last week of school. So we have like all the kids lined up. And again, the same thing, getting them in position, getting them in the makeup, roll camera. 1 bee came along. And the kid's like, a bee! That's it, scene over. The kids just fucking ran. That was it. We're done. The bee is directing your movie. It's literally a bee movie. So you're like, okay. Guess we didn't get that sequence. I budgeted and planned for 20 years. But then doing the operation, I was like, I kept thinking of children's stuff kids would have at school. Like, I remember playing, the game
Staples.
Operation. Yeah, what's that?
Like the Staples.
Yeah, the Staples, yeah. So we literally took a body and replicated what's on the game Operation. But then, like, we didn't have, like, the nose. I was like, we're supposed to have a lacrosse ball in the nose. Like, we had to, like, running around the school, breaking into the cabinets. So it's like, I found a playground. Like, so we could put on the body, the nose. And so I got 2 kids sitting there. Like, they're looking around, and you look, and it's like, whoa. And there was this adorable, this girl was probably 5 years old or 6 years old. She was just the sweetest little girl. So I gave her a pair of forceps and intestines, pulling it out. And she kept looking at the camera. First, she's like, "This is really sticky." I go, "No problem. We can have someone else do it." She goes, "No, no, no, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I want to do it. I want to do it." It's like, "Okay, okay." And then she kept like looking right in the camera, and I was like, "Okay, again, you've like a minute to get it." And I was like, "All right, let's try another one." And I have again outside in the background, there's like 20 kids running around tackling people. It's just it's like anywhere you point the camera is chaos, and it lands on the operation. And then she did it. She kept doing it. And the parents have to have visual eye contact with their child at all times. That's one of the rules. Your child is always in eyesight of you. So when you're in a school, in a hallway, I had a little monitor set up. Not a big, it's low budget. It's like a small little monitor. And I have 20 moms around me. And they are all like, my child would be great with intestines. My daughter would love a fake head. I think my son needs more blood, don't you? Like, what's funny is all the kids are huge horror fans. I was super upfront with what we were doing. I was like, there's going to be blood. They're like, anyone that didn't want to do it wasn't there. So the kids that showed up, they love Halloween. They love Walking Dead. They haven't seen Terrifier, but they have Art Crispy's backpacks. And the parents are younger than me, so they're like, oh yeah, I remember I was in high school when I saw Hostel. I'm like, you trying to make me feel old? Like they were like, oh, I saw Cabin Fever when I was a kid. I was like, now I have a child. So, but it was great because they're all horror fans. So they got what we were doing. And the mom of this girl said, her dad is a chef. He's Italian. I was like, got it. And I went up to her and I go, I hear your daddy's a chef. She goes, yeah. I was like, why don't you just pretend that it's Friday night and this is like the most delicious Friday night spaghetti you've ever seen, and just look at it and pretend it's spaghetti. She's like, okay. And next take, she was like, and we got it. So it was really like, and then we'd say someone's like, our camera operator, Jimmy's like, what if there's a kid like doing a blood angel? I'm like, great idea. I'm like, who wants to do a blood angel? And this 8-year-old girl's like, I'll do it. We're like, you sure you're going to get sticky? She's like, I don't care. It's going to be awesome. It's like, and her grandmother was there. The grandmother's like, do it. I'm like, we'll give you like plastic sheeting to put in the car and the ride. And we've wipes. We can clean it up. Like, they're like, no, she did not want to get out of her blood angel makeup. She's like, can I stay like this? I'm like, I wouldn't, you're like flypaper right now. I wouldn't advise it. But that's what was so fun is the kids, and the kids like in the hallway banging. There was a scheduling snafu. So that was literally like we had 100 children where you're like, we found this, you go to the location, we scouted this school that looks very much, Ben and I confessed, the elementary school we went to that you can see in some of the Super 8 film is identical to the one that we shot at. It was weird. It was like the same East Coast. It must have been built the same year, 1910. But there's a hallway with like plexiglass. It's all and I thought, it'd be great to have it like a fishbowl where the kids are in it and they look around and it's 360 everywhere you go. It's just banging on the glass, the kids, and the glass starts cracking. And how are they going to get out? And they're murdering a teacher and they're waiting for them to finish killing this teacher so they can like get out of there before the glass cracks. And like we were going to lose the kids in 30 seconds. So I had to like start rolling the cameras and shoot it. And then we were left with like 20 kids, so you have to point the camera, move all the kids here, and then point the camera, move all the kids there. It was that kind of a thing. It was like with the kind of the bird sequence. There's a shot of the kids jumping off the jungle gym, which you have to have like. It's so funny. I turn around and I had this idea, this idea I wanted to do where it's like the birds, where she's like smoking the cigarette, and there's one crow and there's another crow she's waiting for, and then she turns around and the whole jungle gym is covered in crows. Like I was like, this is such. I was like, I'm gonna fully. I mean, it's like, in the homage, there isn't even a strong enough word for what we were doing because we took the music, which was a public domain.
Actionable is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, like ristlety, rostlety. Like I told Melanie Griffith, we did like there's a song that's playing that the kids are singing that I had to write new lyrics for that I recorded, which I went like identical. And we're sitting there, and the jungle gym is covered with children. So I'm like, okay, can't we just point the camera and shoot it? And they're like, no, because the child actor rules are that you can't put a child on a jungle gym unless they're a special skilled extra. I was like, but the kids are on the jungle gym for real. All I have to do is push the button. They're like, if you push the button, you're going to be in big trouble because you will be having non-skilled extras. And these kids are like running around and jumping off the jungle gym, and I'm dying because I'm like, can't I just fucking roll the camera? Is the lady looking? Can we just get it? And they're like, you won't be able to use it because then the kids were just playing. So I was like, I just need them to stand there. No. What we did was we hired 6 or 7 children. We locked off the shot, and we had to put 6 kids here and roll the camera and like put 6 kids here And then we threw them changes. We put them in 5 T-shirts. It's 100 degrees. We put them in 5 T-shirts. So the kids are in one position. Then we look at the frame. Then we move them over here. They peeled off the shirts, threw them down, changed their pose, threw them here, moved their, they had to climb. It was and Justin Harding. It's this credit to Justin Harding. He directed a terrific film that's on Hulu called Carved. That was how So Justin, and he directed an episode called The Dollhouse on my show, Zach's The Haunted Museum. He's a terrific, terrific director. And Justin kind of came in and did second unit for me as a favor on Thanksgiving because it was just so much to shoot, and I really trusted him, and we shot So Justin and I brought him from the beginning. And Justin uses this program called FrameForge, which if you're an aspiring director, I highly recommend getting and learning.
What is it?
FrameForge is basically okay, we're shooting a scene in here. Okay, we know we're going to film it. You can go in and wireframe out the room. Okay, how many rows of chairs? Okay, there's 6 rows of chairs. Okay, there's 6 seats in each thing. You can basically build it in a wireframe thing. Then there's every kind of camera package. You go, okay, we're going to get the Arri this. We're using this lens. So you can stand as gray little people, put a chair here. You can shoot it. You can basically mock it up before you shoot it. So we go, instead of getting, okay, if I want to shoot a shot of the room and I want to use a 35, I know it needs to be in the 4th row of chairs to get this. But if I really want the wide, I'm going to have to do that. If we're going to back it, instead of taking a viewfinder or a camera going, well, we can't, the glass is there, the blah, blah, blah. All that bullshit you work out that you'd waste time on set, you work out before. So Justin
Can you
and
change lenses with it? Can you do all that with it too?
You put in any camera and any lens, and you can animate basic movements. It depends how elaborate you want to do it. FrameForge, F-O-R-G-E. So, and I'm not sponsored by FrameForge. I like it, and Justin has been using it for so long. I couldn't learn it, but Justin knows it the way you sit down with someone that knows Photoshop or Maya, and they just do it in seconds. Justin can. He has a laser measure. He just goes. He draws it. He goes laser. He takes he's already got meta glasses, so he's clicking with his phone, taking pictures, laser measuring, framing it out, and he's got it. So in 2 minutes he can do a room. He can go home and in 5 minutes build it in FrameForge and build the things, and then we just put in, okay, we're shooting on this camera. We want to shoot this lens, and then you can mock it up. You can save the frame. You can print it out, and then we go, okay. So I'll go to the location and I'll kind of stick figure it and sketch it and go, what's a good? Okay, if we're going to start with a 2-shot of us, where's the best 2-shot? And then they'll have this is a 2-shot here, and okay, we want to do Elvis' single now. Where do we need to put the camera? Are we going to do want to do a 75 moment? No, let's do a nice shot, a 25. Well, if we're going to do the 25, we're going to have to lose those 2 chairs. So when you sit down with your assistant director, you go, these are the 6 shots I need to complete it. What's the smartest way? Okay, let's get the wide out of the way first. Let's do the one in the back. Then probably easiest lighting-wise, we break those guys. We keep shooting in this direction. We chew our way forward. But you have it. But he prints them out, and he does this thing where he puts these boards on Velcro where he has the FrameForge shot, and as soon as you get it, you turn it upside down. So it's the most exciting thing. Do it. Got it. And you're just and it's mathematical. And then we go to the crew. They go, how many shots do we have? We go, okay, we have 3 hours to get this. What do we need to do? We're doing this, then we're doing this, then we're doing this, then we're doing this. And the AD is do I need the children? I don't need the children in this one, right? Okay, so we're going to get the shot. I need to give them a 10-minute break. You got to every 2 hours, the main cast gets 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They're going to do that shot while we're turning over this. We get the 10-minute break. The blah. So Justin and I went through the school, through the classrooms, sketched it. I know this is boring technical stuff. You're not a director, but we did it. Justin and I broke down the movie mathematically, and then we said, okay, this will be handheld. This will be here. This will be, and it freed us up to do more stuff. But I was in the classroom with 30 kids, when you have to break them, I know what the room looks like. I know where I'm putting everybody. I know where the camera's going. And then you can just give them the takes. Okay, if he's coming in the door, I already know that the camera goes here, and I know I'm going to have to move these chairs. So instead of burning the time when you have those kids, okay, these shots are done. We're going to move to his close-up at the door. All these kids get a break. Bye. These 2 kids stay here. Now we're going to go here. Let's lose these 2 kids, give them their 10-minute break. Let's bank the school. Okay, they're going there. So it was, Ed, my assistant director, and who would work with Justin, and Simon, my DP, and they'd all done Urban Legend and a Haunted Museum together. And we sat down before, and we talked through every single day, And how are we going to do this? And how
Well,
are we
that's
going
got
to
to
get
be
it?
crucial when you're working with kids and you're got such limited time to be that meticulous in the planning. You really have to, don't you?
It took 10 movies to understand how to shoot this in 19 days. This is my first movie, it would have been a 40-day shoot because I wouldn't have understood this. And then also, I know that I'm missing a shot of a teacher. Okay, I'm going to get that. Like blah blah blah. And Justin and I, we would have 2 cameras if we needed it. I like to shoot with 1 camera. I whenever I can. Sometimes when it's 100 children, it's 100 degrees. You have no choice. You're spraying. They call it spraying it down. Like you have 2 cameras. But I always find as a director, people would ask me, why do you want to shoot with 1 camera? Television, you're shooting 2 or 3 cameras. Okay. So imagine this. This room right now is lit for a wide. Okay, we're doing a shot here of all you guys, but Ben is the focus because Ben's the other actor that was in the movie, and I need Ben's close-up of his reaction, okay? But if you turn around and look, you can see sort of the first 3 rows are lit. I'm lit for a wide, but I'm not lit for Ben's close-up properly. He can be exposed, but he's in the dark, he's very flat. So if you put a shot here and you get a wide, and I put a 100 on it, you're gonna get him. It'll be a closer shot, but
The shot you want.
it's a shit close-up. And as an actor, and Ben is a meticulous actor, Ben knows the difference between a camera being here and a camera being right fucking here. And when you have a camera right here, like with Elvis's acting, and the camera's here, he's gonna give a great performance. But as an actor, and I noticed this on Inglourious Bastards. If like when you're there and the camera's right there and you hear the film and the director's next to it, like you're like, oh, they took the time to light me properly. I'm not and that's what with Cate Blanchett and Jack Black on House of the Clock and as well as and even on Borderlands, it was a different kind of experience. But you're like, you're taking the time to light your actor correctly. And you don't always get that luxury. So shooting 1 camera and changing the lens and physically moving the camera closer for a close-up, that's the difference between cinema and television. Because if you shoot 3 cameras and every close-up is a flat telephoto close-up, now you're making TV.
Well, don't tell it to Ridley Scott. But anyway.
By the way, Ridley Scott is a master, and he has his technique, and he does it his way.
But what I was going to say to you, though, is that all the things you're talking about come down to giving an actor ease. And it's the way you talk about those kids, the way they talk. You can see it's the body language in kids in a Disney show. They're like this because they're like basically waiting to do the dialogue versus kids who are really talking to each other. I mean, it's that kind of thing where when there's a comfort level, we feel it in the performance. And that creates the reality too, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like it's having everyone like you hope your cast bonds, and the kids are great. Like all the kids that are the bullies, they're like, yeah, it's our 3rd movie together as the bullies. They're like everyone's, they love it. They've all been bullies. They all kind of know each other because it's a very small pool in Toronto of actors, and they've worked together. And I really want to set them up. Like once you put the kids in monster makeup, it's like think of Halloween when you get in your costume, you don't want to take it off. You like being in character. So when the kids put on the ice cream makeup, they loved it, and they were.
And the thing one of the things that I want to ask you about this too is that there's constant laughter in it. You hear this glee from these kids who are having the time of their lives, which is also adds to the unsettling part of it because you're this laughter during all this carnage. But you also hear that they're really enjoying themselves, which you want to.
That's what makes it disturbing. People were like, I'm like, because people would audition for the Ice Cream Man, and they were like, I'm the, because there's no dialogue. It's like creepy look, and even if I said no, he's got to be sweet and wholesome, like that you trust this person. But something slightly unsettling. And Ari Millen, who'd been in Orphan Black, came in, and he just had this look and this smile and these ways, and everything about him was so meticulous. He's such a methodical actor, but he really understood. He's just the nicest guy, and he was having a great. Like everybody was having a great time with each other.
That box in the ice cream truck for him, that's like a stage for him. I mean, it's like a Punch and Judy show.
It is.
He moves. Every gesture is kind of worked
He's
out.
Like,
for that
the
frame.
sweeping, the thing like this. Like we really like. It's slightly alien. You're just like, what planet is this person from? And that's part of what makes him so unsettling. Is that his like kind of inhuman behavior, and then the transformation of the kids, themselves, just having like no expression until they start killing. And then when you see them smiling, you're like, wow, like when they, like steal up, like, I don't even want to give it away, but there's like the kids are just doing the most horrible shit, and they were laughing when they were doing it. Like they kills and everyone goes yay, like just that whole. It's Christmas morning. I mean, it's the happiest day of their lives. This is like this, and that was the fun. Is like all the innocent things, like the laughter of children, just using it in this kind of horrific way. And the movie that did it the best, after I wrote the script with my friend Noah Belson, who Ben was also part of our group growing up. I'd seen The Birds, I'd seen the 1980 movie The Children, Bad News Bears, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like all the, obviously The Stuff, Halloween 3.
The Village of the Damned in there.
Village of the Damned, absolutely, The Bad Seed. And someone said, have you seen this Spanish movie, Who Can Kill a Child? By Narciso Ibáñez Serrador from 1976. And I was like, no, I haven't, actually. It was hard to find. I hadn't seen it. And then I watched it and I went, it was
the first thing I thought of when I saw this.
Well, I saw it in like 2004, 2005, and it was so good, I was like, I ain't even going to try. This is the greatest movie ever made. I was like,
except the difference is that starts with this kind of dread, and this.
No, it's dread. So yes, exactly. That is like a terrifying dread. That is like the true horror, and it's an incredible, incredible film. So I showed it to like my DP and my composer Brandon Roberts, and I had Ben Davis watch it. I was like, look at how brilliant the acting. If this movie came out today, everyone would win Best Actor. The performances, Prunella Ransom, they're so good. It's so well done, and the kids are incredible, and it's terrifying. But I also thought, I have my own version of it. I was like, I'm not afraid to make this because mine is different enough.
That one's telling you it's a nightmare almost from the very start. You said Ambulance. This could be like the beginning of Goonies or something.
It is.
Where this movie starts.
I want people to think for the first 10 minutes they're in the wrong theater. Like I actually want that. I want people a little bit confused, going like, when's the killing going to start? Like, what is this? Like, I think if you tease it just long enough, when you're holding back, like you can give them blood right away, but when you hold back, the audience, what happens is it turns over, where you have this confidence in the dread and in the killing, where the audience is like, okay, if they haven't shown us anything yet, like something really bad is coming. And then it just goes and goes to the point where I want people to go, I may have made a mistake walking into this movie. Like, there's something wrong with me for wanting to see this. Like, I knew this was going to be brutal, but this is like fucking insanity.
I can tell you, the other movie I thought about too and watching it is Hitchcock's Frenzy.
Oh, interesting.
Because you know how it gets darker, physically darker and darker by the end, and every time you see somebody smile, it gets really scary.
Yeah.
And how it's also about.
We're also running out of light. We're running out of daylight. I mean, that was like literally like, oh yeah, no, we're just like, it's like 6 o'clock. We're just like barely like hanging on. I mean, thank God we shot it in August. We could get to like 7:15 sometimes. We're like, fuck, man, this is. And I thought it was gonna work because it's like basically takes, the bulk of the movie it's like a day and a half, but the bulk of the movie takes place over the course of a day. And it kind of, ends it in the evening. So I was like, it actually is going to work in favor of the movie, but it was grueling. I mean, I was like, I couldn't believe I was like, why did I sign up for this? What was I thinking?
But you were saying something about, and this reminded me too of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and that it's a group of people who have the most personality in the town, who sort of stand out by virtue of who they are. So they kind of drawn together just because they're the most charismatic people in that town. But also, I just thought about this thing of how you give each victim their due. I mean,
yeah.
Although there's one scene I feel you must have been thinking about for 20 years. It's kind of a fashion victim death with the socks and the sandals.
Yes. Yes. No, it is. There's stuff like, because the whole fun of the movie, the puzzle is, how could children realistically take down adults? Because you can't just have the adults going, oh, like, it's like, how do you do the horror Home Alone? Where the kids, okay, we could use marbles and you could fucking smash their toes with a hammer and then chop off their hand with a paper cutter. Like, that was the fun. Like, well, if there's a pitching machine, you could fire it at that guy's balls. That would hurt. Like, we literally walked around the school. I mean, when we were writing it, we had I had a bunch of ideas, but that was the fun of the movie.
But part of it, too, is that
doing these insane deaths.
Is it like in The Birds, it takes place in the community, so these adults want to help these kids because they're teachers.
They all know them.
Everybody,
and that's like, at the beginning, there's like the kids are playing. I'm sorry, it's like spoiler. Like I wanted to make it clear that everyone in the town knows each other. We're in a small town, so like when the kid is like the umpire is like a college kid, and like the kids are jawing at each other, going like, it's like, come on, just pretend it's a cheeseburger, you fuck. Like, yeah, or your mom's ass, I'm going to spank you. And there's like, hey, enough, you two. It's like, okay, Alan. By the way, I love that Glengarry monologue. You really nailed that. It's like, shut up. He's like, stop it, Hank. He's like, no, seriously, I follow your IG. You got chops. Like, he's like, one more word and I walk. I'm like, and so like I just explained. I was like, he's like, so wait, what is a Glengarry monologue? I'm like, well, it's this play, Glengarry Glen Ross, and the backstory of this guy, the umpire, is that he's also like a college actor, and then like after the game, he like runs up to the kid who lost, and he's like, "Did you really think I was good?" And he's like, "No, you're better than Alec Baldwin." It's like, "Oh, awesome!" Like to have the umpire running up to a child for validation for his acting performance is like as an insecure actor, but he's also like, and then that pays off later. But like that kid was that guy's babysitter, that's the kind of thing when you all grow up together.
See, that's what really
everybody knows each other.
Because you pack so much into a really short running time, and everybody gets a scene really, and that these adults are established in this way where they're not just the kind of corny teachers who you want to see get knocked off. They actually really care for these kids, and they know these kids. That's why they're not running away, because even when they're like misbehaving, they figure, well, I can get through to them because I'm the teacher.
I'm the teacher, and I know them. And it's all about these positions in society that the ice cream man comes in and shatters. Like it's the flip. Like the people that are in charge, the teachers, the parents, the dentist, the police officer, the fireman, all these like symbols that are there to protect the children, and the kids just fucking kill them. It's like, it's disturbing, but it's all the symbols. I wanted to take the iconography of the small town, and you're like, who would you call? Okay, your teachers know what to do. Okay, then they would call the police, and the police would know how to help, and a big cop shows up. Okay, how are these kids? This is a big dude. Like this, guy he was terrific. How are they going to take him down? Okay, now the fireman shows up. How are they going to take down the fireman? And this one, that, and then it's like, by the time they knock out those people, like, and the parents just, nobody wants to acknowledge what's really happening. Like you have the mom going like, who really wants to teach her child not to bully. Like she's really trying to teach her child a lesson. It's like, so it's like, we don't, like don't listen to bullies. They always get what they deserve. And then, she's like, her kid's infected, and she's like, sweetie, no, we don't bully. And he just fucking hits her with a hammer. It's like, no, sweetie, no, we don't bully. Ow, ow. Like it's that idea of like a mother still trying to like teach their child a lesson, but it's not their kid anymore. The kid is going to beat them to death with a hammer. So that to me is like, it's funny. That's the problem. I find it so funny. I always set out to make a scary movie, and it just fucking turns out funny.
But it's funny. But also to me too, it also reminds me of so much Stephen King with A Small Town with a Secret.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very much Stephen King. I loved. Those are the movies I grew up on. And look, we shot with the lenses, the DNA Prime lenses. They're refurbished Hasselblad glass from 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I use them on Thanksgiving, the DNA Primes by Arri. They're such beautiful lenses because they have imperfections. They're not gorgeous, polished lenses. It's like glass that has been used for 40, 50, 60 years. And it's got some imperfections. It's warped a little. It's got some scratches. The edges can go soft.
Definitely, the edges go soft, yeah.
And you're not, we were shooting, in 235, we weren't shooting anamorphic. We tested anamorphic, but we went with 235.
Why do you decide instead of anamorphic?
Because you get focus issues in the center. It's the speed of the lenses. We also knew that the speed of the lenses.
It's also about time too, isn't it? You don't have enough time to.
Do we have enough time to do it? Like there is a thing where everyone's like, I love to shoot anamorphic. The lenses are heavy. We knew that we'd be running and doing some handheld, but also the lens speed. Like, okay, well, if we go to the DNA Primes, we can get this lens. We'll get to a 1.7, and shooting at a 1.7, we could shoot wide open. Oh, the 16 millimeter, we can actually shoot at night with sodium vapor lights. And we wouldn't have to really light the street very much. Like it's so wide open, there's so much latitude in it. Whereas the anamorphic, you have to pump it with light, and then you get focus edges. You basically gain extra width, and then you have to deal with that. But then it tends to be soft focus. So we just tested them, and I did this fake trailer called "Don't Go in That House, Bitch," which we shot. Which is a movie. And then Snoop Dogg, I told Snoop Dogg, and he gave me the voiceover for it. He's like, we got to do this.
By the way, tell him who did some of the music for the movie.
And so the music, I worked with my composer, Brandon Roberts, who's incredible. He's Emmy Award winning. He's done Andor, and he did Thanksgiving, and we did this beautiful, beautiful score. And then I was telling Snoop about the movie because Snoop loves horror. We were talking about actually doing Don't Go in the House, Bitch. It's a feature film, and I told him about Ice Cream Man, and the next day he texted me. He's like, "Hey, if you want, I got inspired to use some music," and he sent me score, and it's like, oh fuck, this is good. It was like down, and it was completely different musical palette than Brandon. And I was like, and it said horror guitar 3, and it was like 12 minutes or 13
Very
minutes.
Goblin when I heard that.
And I was just like, I can't fuck up. But this is fucking incredible. This isn't rap music. It's like, and it's because he did a song for the end credits. That's Ice Cream Music. You know, it's a Snoop song, but it's incredible score. And I was like, I want to use it. He's like, I said, I have a great spot where I can use this, where I'm going to do it in like the playground attack. There's a point where it switches from the cop car where they're running to like trying to get through the escape. It's all Snoop's music. And then I said, I want to do like an end credits. Would you want? And I said, I was thinking about doing like some variation for the end credits, ice cream, you scream, we scream, ice cream. And then he just texts me 2 hours later and he's got a song done. And he's like, here. And I was like, what? It wasn't like we sat down and watched the movie. It was like that's like Snoop is the most amazing person. Like he's really incredible. And by the way, Nas is an executive producer on the movie. Nas is an investor in horror section, and Nas loves horror movies. I was like, am I bridging the East Coast? Like to have these like ice, not that, but obviously I know I'm not.
You ended the wars. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you.
We need to end some strife in this year we're having.
Right. We need some unity. No, but these two like icons, these icons of my like. Obviously growing up and like listening to their music, and they love horror.
It's a big thing in black music. You introduced me to The Weeknd, who loves horror too.
Loves horror movies. Yeah, and Snoop had taught, and we talked about that on their tour buses, they would just watch horror DVDs. They know everything. They know more about horror movies than most directors. It's crazy. Like Snoop's knowledge is astounding. Same thing with Nas. Like we could go like very, very, very deep on movie references, and they're like, they get it right away. So Snoop just sent me the song that's like unbelievable for the end credits. So it's really. And it's fun. It ends it on a fun note. My mom put this class together because her friend Lois Tarlow is an artist, and she said, "Oh, my son makes animation, and we wanted to do animation. We did draw. I mean, we did a whole bunch of those." And I remember when I was like 11 in Mrs. Bleacher's class, we did a retrospective. I was like, we brought the projector, and kids were like, "This is what you like." They couldn't believe it. But that was all I wanted to do. Is we would sit there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. My mom set it up. The parents, it was like Ben's mom. We just hired this. He was 19 years old, and he taught us how to do Super 8. And he's still like a film teacher now, D.L. Polanski. It was amazing. But we did all this stuff. We were experimenting with techniques and gags, and we would sit there and draw and then write, and then we would write the shorts, but it was shooting this on Super 8. So getting to go back and shoot Ice Cream, and I didn't want to show the stuff we shot on Ice Cream. Oh, do we have the stuff that's when they were walking in? Here's a little behind the scenes. This is what the camera looks like that we got to shoot with. So shooting it on Super 8, shooting sections of it was like, it felt like we were going back to, especially shooting with Ben. It's like the same stuff you're doing. I'm basically still a child is all I'm really trying to say. So there you go. So that's what the camera looks like. It's beautiful. So with the ratings, that was another reason I didn't want to do it, because to do what I wanted to do, people were like, well, you'll never get an R. Yeah. And I thought, I won't get an R. And then it was Terrifier 3. I saw what they did. And theaters will now play an unrated movie. So the last one that was out was, we did Jimmy and Stiggs, but in this size release was Terrifier 3. And audiences came out and supported it. Now, hopefully they come out and support Ice Cream Man. And I would say, please, if you're thinking of buying a ticket, buy it now, because the pre-sales make a huge difference. Instead of waiting for the first, the pre-sales matter. The pre-sales make the difference in how many what your screen count is.
Really?
If people are waiting till the last weekend, and you're just going to they'll just give the screen to Spider-Man, because obviously Spider-Man's going to have crazy pre-sales. So the movie like Ice Cream Man, getting people out to buy it. If you think you're going to go, buy the ticket now, please, because it shows the theaters, people are excited. They're buying it 2 weeks out. Let's give them more screens. So that's like essential to a movie like this, where obviously we're doing it low budget. There's no stars in it. It's unrated. It's totally fucking crazy. But the idea is, if the movie works with the horror section, we get to make more.
Well, let's thank Eli Roth for being here tonight.
Thank you, everybody. Go see Ice Cream Man, August 7th. Thank you to Kodak. Thank you for that beautiful Super 8 camera and the film, and keep going.
And also a big hand to Ben Davis back
Benjamin
there.
Byron Davis.
You really are great in the film, by the way. It's a great performance.
All right. Thanks, you guys.